this one is going to take a little time. It's got a few steps to it. None of them are difficult, but it's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to be using one of my favorite stamp sets called A Fish and a Wish. Now this does come with a punch if you want to order it as a bundle, which of course, why wouldn't you? Because you can punch out these fish. I think it'll punch out this one too. It's only $36. Of course, the shipping and tax on top of that, but the catalog price is $36. I think it's $36, maybe it's $36.50, but really an inexpensive bundle. And I love this stamp set. So this is going to be my class to go for the month of August, which I have to kind of get my ducks in a row now so that I can, you know, have things posting while I'm gone about it. So we're going to use this today, not the punch, but we're going to use the stamp set. But I wanted to let you know that there's a punch that goes with it. All right. So we are going to use, all we're using is white. Well, this is a spare in case I screw up. We're using white and blue. A smaller one is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Here it is. Final answer. All right, so I need to bring in my little scratch paper here. And I have to tell you, my order that's arriving tomorrow is going to be bringing me a new sheet, a new pad of this, because I literally have like 3 pieces left because I love this stuff and I use it all the time. So I'm going to lay my little piece on here, and I am going to bring in a blending brush and some Tahitian Tide ink. And this is the card that I was making when I should have found my die, but I didn't see it until I was kind of cleaning up later. But yeah, these are the 2 blocks that I pulled out that made my die visible to me afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to cover this piece of paper with some Tahitian Tide ink. So I'm going to rub my brush over the ink pad, and then I like to kind of rub some of it off onto my block so that I don't have too much on here when I start. Oh, whoops, you can't see, sorry. So I just have a little bit on here. So then I can pull, whoops, I don't know how to see where I can get everything in here and be able to work. Okay, I need a piece of tissue or something because I don't want to hold this with my hand because I'll get, it can take the ink off because you have oils on your hands and then it can leave like fingerprints and nobody wants that. So, and this doesn't have to be perfect, okay? I'm just laying down some color. I think it looks pretty good. Let me get just a little bit more. It's a little light. Oh no, that was too dark. Well, it won't matter. It won't matter. This is going to be one of those things that it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so we have ink on there. Perfect. So we'll close that up and we'll move the brush aside for the moment along with the block. And now we are going to do some embossing. And in case you guys did not know, Stampin' Up! Just came out with a little embossing kit, which is really exciting. We used to sell the Embossing Buddy. We have in the past sold embossing trays a long time ago. We have sold a brush that came with the tray. And then we have sold some cross-lock tweezers in a kit a while ago. So now they have put everything together into one package. The tray, the tweezers, the brush, and the Embossing Buddy to make it pretty convenient. So if you don't already have some of these embossing supplies, I highly recommend getting them because you won't be sorry. All right, so I'm going to cover this with the Embossing Buddy. So I'm going to kind of tap it on there to release the powder. And we should be good, I hope. Okay, so then I'm going to stamp some of these fish in Versamark. Where are my fish? Here are my fish. Okay, so I'm going to ink up my fish in Versamark. And my theory on Versamark, you guys, is ink it up until you think you have enough and then ink it up some more. You can never have too much. All right, so I'm going to stamp a fish right here. I'm going to ink that up again. I'm going to stamp a fish kind of down here. And now you might be wondering, how do you even know where you're stamping it? Well, I can barely see. There's like a shininess to the ink and the light will sort of catch it. So that's how I know what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to cover these fish now with clear embossing powder. This is one of our powders. This comes in a collection of 3. I think it's called the Basics. It's got clear, black, and white in it. And so we're going to use the clear. And I think I missed a tail right there. Okay, and we should be good. We should not have any excess powder where we don't want it since we used our Embossing Buddy. And I think it looks pretty clean, so I'm pretty happy about that. So then I'm going to ink up the smaller fish, and this little fish is going to swim the opposite direction. Okay. So he's going to swim here and here. So then I'm going to bring this back over to my tray and get those couple of fish. So now we have 5-ish fish on here. Okay, so now I'm going to take the little cap off of the tray, and then I can funnel the excess powder back into the container. And then you can use your brush to facilitate that. So you can push the powder down to the opening and then get it all back into your container. Okay, so let me put the lid on that. Put the lid on this because I'm going to bring in my heat tool now, so it's going to get loud, and I apologize, but you have to do it. All right, where's my tool? Okay, so you can see that I have these fish. Oh, you know, I got a little bit of excess powder right there. I don't know where that came from. So I've got all my fish on here. So now I'm going to do the heating. So now it's going to get loud, so I'm sorry. This is one of those techniques that I could do 100 times and never get tired of it. I love watching embossing powder melt. It just takes a few seconds for my tool to heat up to temperature, and then it'll just go crazy and it'll start melting everything. There we go. You just want to make sure that you watch it and make sure that all your powder gets melted. Because if you don't melt it all, then of course it will flake off. And then you won't have a complete fish. Normally I do my embossing before I go live, but you kind of have to do the whole step process in order for it to work. Okay. So now we have our fish that are embossed, and I want to make sure everything looks dry and like it's supposed to. Okay, we're good. I'm going to bring my paper back in, and now I'm going to use another color of ink. I'm going to use some Pacific Point. Okay. Oh, you guys are still telling me happy birthday. Thank you. So I'm going to use some Pacific Point. So I'm going to get some Pacific Point on my brush, and then I'm going to get a little bit of it off because I don't want it to be a ton at this moment. I don't want it to make a giant mess. And then I am going to cover the layer with the Pacific Point. Where's my paper here? So now it's going to be darker. Pacific Point and Tahitian Tide, you guys, is like a dream combination. They just look so good together. I'm having some issues with my paper wanting to bend on me a little bit. So I'm going to have to be a little more careful. Get some more ink. Oh gosh, I hope you guys can see. Sometimes I move out of the frame and I'm not really paying attention. Oh, good Lord, I am just bound and determined to bend this, aren't I? Okay, so you can see I'm going over the fish, and then I'm going to bring in a Kleenex. Now I'm going to remove the excess ink. Okay, so now you can see where my fish have kind of come through. So now we have our fish on there. Fantastic. So then the next step is to bring in the Tahitian Tide and the little seaweed stamp. And I'm going to stamp some seaweed on this. There we go. And then again, we're going to get that ink off. So it should mostly remove anywhere there's embossing. So it'll kind of give us the appearance that the seaweed is in the back a little bit, or that our fish are completely see-through. Okay. So then I have a sentiment that says, I don't know what this says, sending well wishes. And we're going to do that in some Pacific Point, kind of right in this little well area where I don't have, well, let me stamp it on here first and see if it's straight. Yeah, it seems to be. Okay, so is that straight? Sort of. Okay. So that is the little bit of a technique. It's not, you know, anything spectacular. I'm sure all of you guys have probably done this before, but I just think it's really fun, especially with these fish. I am just loving these fish. Okay, so then we've got white that used to be white that we're adhering to white. Oh, Janice, you're so sweet. Janice just gave me a cute little tip. So sweet. Thank you so much. Okay. So then we have a little background there. And then we're going to add this to a Tahitian Tide card base, but we are going to first stamp this little kind of wavy, I don't know if it's supposed to be water maybe. This wavy stuff. Oh, Brenda is also a super sweetheart. Thank you, guys. I'm getting some birthday money. What am I going to buy? I'm going to put it towards my new printer. That's what I'm going to do. Some of you may be wondering if I have gotten a new printer yet. No. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. I need to research what I want, and I just did not have time to do that yet. My stupid way of making it work is working, even though it's stupid and I hate it. But I'm trying to get ready to go on vacation. We're still doing the catalog kickoff group. I'm still doing the rest of my work. And so I don't have time to research it right now. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to put this on top of and just have a little bit of detail on the back there. So let me get some dimensionals. Where are those ones I was cutting on? Here we go. So I'm going to use 5 this time. Brought back 2. Yeah, I know. I hope so. I keep wondering, Tammy, if they're going to come out with blocks that have grids on them. I keep waiting. I have no insider information that it's happening. I just keep hoping that it is, because I really think it would be a good move on their part to have blocks with grid lines. Okay, so I'm going to add this layer to my Tahitian Tide. Is that straight? You know me, old, can't see, even though I had 2 cataract surgeries before the age of 55. Okay, then there's more. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Oh my gosh, can I get that off? I think I can. Hold on. Come on, get off, get off, get off. I forgot. I was going to spritz this with some water. So hold on. Let me bring in this mat because I have some kind of sticky on there. So I have a little dampen spritzer with some water, and I wanted to spritz this because I want it to look like some underwaterness. Let me make sure it's not going to spray me in the face. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of pick up, and you guys can probably see, and of course it's going to mess up my sentiment. That was dumb. You know what I could do though? I think what I might do is try this. We're going to try to fix a mistake, because you know Barb constantly makes mistakes. I'm going to stamp this again on this label punch, and I'm going to see if I can stick it over the top of that. Maybe I should have used alcohol. I don't know. Alcohol might have worked better. I mean, the effect that it gave was really cool, because you can see it kind of made it splotchy and splattery. But splotchy and splattery also, that's too long, got, oh my gosh, what the heck? The splotchy and splattery also made a problem for me, where it screwed up my sentiment. Okay, hold on. We're going to do this. I need to, oh, you know what I can do? There, I'm going to make a handle. There. So I'm wondering if I can just do that. I need to get my heat tool back, because this is too wet. I should have used alcohol. Note to self. Use alcohol next time, Barb. This paper is still kind of damp. Okay. I think that's all right. Now, I'm wondering, is that going to look dumb? It might. We'll see. Hold on. Let me bring this back. If we put this on, I wonder if I could, do you think I could stamp over it? I'm going to try. I'm going to try to stamp over it again. We'll see what happens. I don't have, I don't have what's the word? I'm not confident that this is going to work. Oh, am I going to ruin this whole thing? Oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay, you guys are saying it looks fine the way it is. Okay, I'm not going to, I think I would totally screw it up if I tried to do that. Oh, let's just see. If I tried to overstamp this, could I? I'm thinking no. And the answer is no. That's a no. I'm glad you guys saved me. I was getting ready to do it, and you guys said, don't do it. So I didn't. Okay. The last thing I'm going to do is add some embellishments. You guys may not have seen these before, but we have these in the catalog. They're a little sequin stack, and I'm going to use these blue ones. I've already pulled out some of the ones that I want to use. And look at these fun little things. So all of the containers are different colors, but a lot of them have the same thing in them. So like they have these little tiny, I think goldish sequins. They have a colored stop sign in large and small size. They have half pearls. If you guys didn't know that, these little half pearls are pretty cool. If I could flip it over, there it is. And then they have these little sparkly kind of whitish sequins. And then they have like a colored sequin. So here's what I'm going to use, like these little blue colored sequins. So let me put these back into the container and put the lid on so that I don't dump sequins all over the place. And then I'm going to get my liquid glue and we're going to add some sequins. Make sure there's no glue booger on the end of this. Oh, here comes some glue. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of act like, you know, these fish are maybe blowing some bubbles, some of them. And we'll see. Okay, so here is a sequin going on. I'll have to press that down. But we have another sequin. There's just a lot of fun sequins in here, and I'm kind of debating on whether I'm going to add these sequins to my class. I really like them. And I think you could have pink fish. Why not? Salmon is pink, right? Get on that there. Okay. That actually might be a large silver sequin rather than a blue one. Yes, it is. I don't want that one. We're going to trade that for a blue one. And we're going to add another little tiny blob of glue because my glue is used up on that other sequin. Oh, get on there. Okay. So there. How fun is that? All right, so let me bring my inside layer in here. And I'm just going to quickly stamp some fish. So here is a Pacific Point fish. And then I have a Tahitian tide. Where's my small fish? Here he is. And maybe he can be swimming that direction. And then maybe this fish can kind of be where? Oh, I don't know. Like that? I don't know. There, we're leaving it like that. Okay, that's going to go on the inside of the card. As I'm tossing a bunch of this stuff back in my bucket. And then we can bring the inside layer and get it to the inside of the card. Okay, those little sequins are really cute. I was very excited when I got them and opened them up and saw all the fun different designs of sequins that are in there. There's just a lot. Okay, so there it is, our cute little fish card and fish on the inside. Yay!